If you would love to run a webinar because you know it would help grow your business, but you seriously don't have the time, then this video is for you, because we are going to cover 3 effective strategies to save time in creating, promoting, preparing for your webinar. Now, webinars can be time consuming. They can also be pretty costly. From the technology, promoting, ensuring people are signed up and coming, actually delivering, like it can add up to be a lot of factors that can make the process overwhelming and seem like it's going to be really time consuming. However, I'm here to bust that myth, because it is possible to simplify, to optimize, and we're going to cover 3 ways to do that today. So, firstly, streamline your marketing efforts. Preparing your marketing materials in a batch and in advance can be a huge time saver. You're not spending all that mental effort reinventing the wheel for each promotion. You have a core strategy and then you adapt that to meet a few different messaging targets. But you know what that is, and doing it all at once means that you know what you have covered in other pieces. Don't make promoting your webinar difficult or unenjoyable. Look for ways to work with your strengths and do what you already are good at, because that is how you're going to make it quick and sustainable. Like easy places to market your webinar. Add a call to action at the end of content that you already have prepared. Mention it in videos. Include it in a slide in your stories. Email your list. Please email your list. Talk about it at a networking event. Add a link at the bottom of your most popular blogs. All these small places you can put it with absolutely little effort. And remember to invite the people you know that you are connected with if it's going to help them. That is how you're going to ensure sign-ups, because you know people need it. Don't shy away from the sales posts though. Yes, it's easy to add it in lots of little different places, but sales posts are crucial for conveying the value of your webinar. Remember also, repetition is key. To ensure your message reaches your target audience multiple times is how you're really going to get people to sign up. And I'm just going to say something here. Like, if you're like, oh, if they aren't interested in seeing what you have to sell, then they aren't going to be interested in buying from you. You cannot annoy people who love your work. Mix up different lengths of posts as well. You don't have to write everything as an essay, because short and to the point can actually be really impactful. You don't always have to explain 10 reasons why people should join, 10 things you're going to do on the webinar. Short and to the point, you need this webinar because can really be highly converting. Now, batching. Let's talk about batching for 1 second. Here's the caveat. You don't have to complete all of this in a single setting or in a single sitting. Just make sure, here's the tip, you have something prepared before you announce the webinar so that you feel ready and you can keep in front of that promotion. Tip number 2, leverage your expertise. If you focus on topics you're already knowledgeable about, and you're already passionate about, you are going to save time, because you already know so much more than most people on your topic. Don't forget, you have spent years and years of your life pursuing this expertise in one way or another. Like, this is where you save hours on research and that you can confidently deliver valuable content. What you need to do is segment that, intersect that with identifying the problems your audience has and addressing them directly. Position your webinar as the solution to their challenges, even if they aren't aware of some of the underlying issues or the nuances. Your job is to guide them to that light bulb moment where they realize the work you do is the answer they have actually needed all along. So the example for this, if your client thinks they need to perfect their social media to get more engagement, but you know that they need to work on their mindset, then you need to target your messaging at what they think, engagement, because otherwise they're just going to keep scrolling and not sign up because they don't realize that the perfection mindset is actually what's holding them back from the engagement. Your job is to position the webinar to help them achieve what they think they need, and to see the bigger challenge is the real work to be done. By staying in your zone of genius, by leveraging your expertise, you are going to come across as credible and trustworthy. And who do you want to work with? Credible and trustworthy people. Now, the caveat for this one, tip number 2, don't think you can't research. Like adding a little bit in, adding some statistics, adding some quotes, adding some research, case studies to support your existing knowledge is absolutely fine. But if you find yourself researching the whole topic, then it probably isn't your zone of expertise. So tip number 3, to save time, simplify your tech setup. When you're starting out, particularly if this is a first webinar or one of your first few, you really don't need a complicated tech stack. Avoid getting caught up in complicated platforms you have to learn and just opt for the essentials. Fancy slides, funnels, email sequences that are hundreds long, complex software, they are all unnecessary. Now, if that's your jam, go for it. But don't use that as a reason to not get started. Just focus on the essential tools. Remember, you can scale up later if that's needed. If 50 people just sign up for your webinar after your first promotion, then you're probably going to need to scale a little bit. But you can get that support when it happens. Seek recommendations, Facebook groups, peers, assistants as you need it, not before you need it. And remember here, tech skills are totally learnable. I wasn't born good at Excel. I learned that. So if you invest that time you do have, you really can master the key essentials. Now here, caveat. Working with what you have is often the best plan, but not if that's going to create an unmanageable workload or unnecessary stress. So if you don't have a mailing list, maybe now is the time to get one so you're not trying to manage registrations. If you don't have Zoom and you're stressing, Zoom Professional, and you're stressing about the time, maybe now is the time to think about starting the free trial or signing up. Now, bonus tip. So tip number 4, and I really wanted to throw this one in, is optimize your webinar length. There is no required length for a webinar. It can be 30 minutes, it can be 3 hours. But think about the constraints on your time because they are also on your audience's time. Rather than trying to make this every piece of advice you could possibly give to somebody, like really just giving them a few key actions, being focused, being concise, delivering your core message effectively, is actually really much more helpful than an extensive shopping list of everything you need to take away and try. Shorter webinars are more appealing and more manageable for you and for your audience. Plus, the time-saving part, it also takes less time to practice. So I hope these 3 strategies to save time in preparing for, creating and delivering your webinar have been helpful. Remember, webinars, they don't have to be a time-consuming burden. If you implement these strategies, you really can optimize from marketing through to delivery. Simple tech, simple information, short, punchy, and marketing, batching. I completely forgot what the first tip was. So what do you need to do to make your webinars more efficient, more impactful, more sustainable, more successful, and quicker? What is the tip you need to take away? Go and implement that. Now, if you need help setting up the content and the structure for your webinar, then join the free Webinar Designer webinar that I have coming up so you can leverage your time to create compelling webinar that engages your audience and builds your list and your reputation. And that is on Thursday, the 27th of July. It's going to be at 10 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, and it is free. And I will leave a link to register in the description for the video.